Hello, everyone, and welcome to this event in partnership with Syracuse University. My name is Stefania, and I will be moderating this webinar on behalf of Docsity. So I see, luckily, that our first participants have joined us, so a warm welcome to all of you. We're just going to wait a few minutes, I promise, before we dive into our session to ensure that everyone can have the chance to connect. In the meantime, don't hesitate to say hi or introduce yourself in the chat, that it's open here on Zoom. Furthermore, we are curious to know where are you joining us from, so please take a moment to share your location in the chat. And thanks again to being here, and we will start shortly. We have the first student that it says hi from Nigeria. In the meantime, I wanted to inform you that we got a Q&A session lined up right after the presentation. This is your chance to ask your questions to our panelists here, so don't be shy. Go ahead and type your questions and curiosity in the Q&A box. We will be thrilled to answer to all of them at the end of the presentation. And if you're interested in receiving the certificate of attendance issued by Docsity, please stay tuned because we will give you more information after this session. And talking about the lineup now, today we will delve into the two graduate degrees, Master of Science and an MBA offered at Whitman School of Management, and discuss about the various specialization in these two. We will also focus on the application procedures and offer some tips to prepare a winning application. So please stay tuned because we have a really nice program for you. And now I would say that it's my pleasure to introduce Shri, Assistant Director and Graduate Recruitment at the Martin J. Whitman School of Management. So thanks again for being a part of this event. And without further ado, I would say that we can get started. So Shri, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Stefania. It is wonderful to be back collaborating with Docsity on another webinar. And I'm seeing a lot of these names in the participant list, and I do recognize some of them. So I guess some of you have interacted with me via email. So thank you for attending this session. And I want to give you a little input into how I have thought about going about today's session, since there have been some changes to our application system, and we have made some changes with the application requirements as well. So if you see a similar webinar from a previous year on YouTube or floating somewhere in the Docsity channel, do know that, things might have changed a little bit from there. So let me start by sharing my screen and going through a little PowerPoint. So let me know when you're able to see the screen. Oops, that's not what we want. Stop share. Okay. Okay. For some reason, I've already finished the webinar, so I'm done. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Okay. All right. Are you all able to see the screen?
Yes, Shri, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So somebody told me that when you do live webinars, people should know that it is from, not a recorded session, and it should be like a real person. So here you are with all the little tech glitches that can happen with a real person. So having said that, welcome to Syracuse University's Whitman School of Management graduate program offerings. So today I wanted to go through a little bit about how we talk about Syracuse, what we offer at Syracuse, and specific to the Whitman School of Management, because I am a representative of the School of Management, which is the business school at Syracuse University. So for those of you who might have expected to learn more about general university programs, unfortunately, this would not be the forum where that would be available. I could potentially give you some links or direct you to other locations, to the departments on campus, but specifically today's presentation is only about the program offerings at the Whitman School of Management. And this is how I have laid out today's talk. So I want to share not just the program offerings that we have, but also how you should be thinking about the next steps in deciding which program is the right fit for you. Should you go through with a specialized master's program, or should you go through with an MBA degree? And how should you prepare your application for either of those? Okay. So let's start with location. And rather than have me just put up a slide to talk about, few bullet points, I wanted to share with you what our campus looks like. This is one of the main views. The one on the left is one of the main views of campus. As you can see, it's a gorgeous campus. The top right is an image of the Hall of Languages, which is one of the main buildings that you come across as you're driving up the hill, as we like to say. And of course, for those of you who've never seen snow, there is snow on the ground. I didn't want you to miss that, because Syracuse is, or used to be, known as the city that had a lot of snow, which was one of the reasons why I came to Syracuse, because I love cold weather. And so it is autumn, and right now this is the season for us. It's a nice sunny day today, so pretty representative, gorgeous campus. And here is a little representation of what we say is known as Orange Pride, or our Orange Spirit. And there is a little inside joke that we folks at SU, as we like to call our university, Syracuse University, we like to say is that if you cut us open, we bleed orange. We don't bleed red, we bleed orange. So this is an example of what Orange Pride is like. And there's our mascot in the top left, Otto. So when you come to campus, you might actually get to see Otto at orientation. So that's an opportunity for you not to miss. But a little bit about the university itself. We are located in upstate New York, or what is known as central New York. We are not New York City. And of course, New York, the state, has a lot more locations than just New York City. We're in close proximity to New York City, so we do have a lot of opportunity to travel to New York City for engagement with different aspects for the school's programs, and we'll talk about that a little bit. There are about 13 colleges at Syracuse University. Martin J. Whitman School of Management happens to be one of them, and we are the business school, as I mentioned earlier, at Syracuse University. So this is the image on the top right is an external view of the Martin J. Whitman School of Management. We were the 16th collegiate school to receive AACSB accreditation. When you're seeking graduate programs, especially international programs, you want to make sure that they are accredited. And this is the Association to Accredited Collegiate Schools of Business. That's the AACSB. What is one of the USPs of the Whitman School of Management? Some of those who are in the session today, participants, you have potentially heard about us maybe from your own friends who are currently attending classes at Whitman. But one of the USPs is we have small class sizes that are coupled and paired with the resources of a large multicultural, multinational university. So you get the best of both worlds. You're not tied down to just becoming a number or a statistic of any sort and at Whitman, but you will have that closeness and experience the opportunity to get to know people, not just by their designation title, but actually as a person, right? So that humanness. And that is possible in your classrooms. It is possible also with in connection with staff and your faculty, because the interactions are close interactions are facilitated due to the possibility of small class sizes. But then you also have, as you look at that, it's a state-of-the-art building. It's a green building and a very student-focused environment. The idea is not just for you to come to Whitman to go attend classes, earn a grade, focus on your GPA. Yes, that is the academic side of it. But when you're coming to a business school, especially coming to an advanced graduate degree, you want to think about what is the degree providing to you, both in quantifiable ways and in non-quantifiable ways. And the non-quantifiable happens only when you have an environment that facilitates learning and also allows for you to have peer interactions and interactions with the staff in the building also. It is a very known fact at Whitman, and I've been at Whitman for close to a decade now, that right from the dean's office all the way down, it is an open door policy. Pretty much at any point, relevant conversations, you can reach out to any of the staff members in any of the departments, and everyone is open to having a conversation. And sometimes we even hang out with students and go to, coffee or lunch together. So don't be surprised if we see you in the hallway and actually address you by name, because you're not, like I say, you're not just a statistic. The bottom right picture highlights the various values that are at the core of our mission, right? So it's about integrity, inclusion. We are all about collaboration, fostering innovation and excellence. So these are the Whitman values, and you can see them manifest in different ways when we go through our different programs, or whether in the classroom or outside the classroom events that we partner either with vendors or put up for our on our own in collaboration with the students. Okay, so I have a little video for you, because I can keep talking till the cows come home about why you should go to Whitman, but I figured it would be better if I let you hear from our own students as to why you should go to Whitman. So bear with me, and Lucia, let me know. We don't need this ad. Let me know when you're able to see the screen, please. Yes?
We just see the dark video, Shri. Like I will.
You see the dark video. Okay. Why is... We tested all this. This is interesting that nothing is working right now. Let's do this one more time. Okay, so I'm screen sharing. Do you see my PowerPoint?
Yes.
Okay, so we're starting again. Okay, do you see the video coming on YouTube? No?
No.
Okay.
Maybe you can try to stop sharing these slides and go back to share all the screen.
Okay, let's try that. Okay. Are you able to see the video?
Yes, now it's perfect.
Okay. So I will play this for, it's a 3-minute video, but I think you'll enjoy it. And let me know if you're able to hear the sound.
What do you picture? Basketball? Oh, yeah. Snow? Sure, we definitely have that. But did you know that the internationally accredited Whitman School of Management is located right at the corner of one of the most bustling streets on Syracuse University's campus? Isn't it beautiful? But what goes on in there?
Well, Whitman offers over 20 graduate-level programs, as well as certificates and executive programs, so it's totally up to me.
With a massive support network and one-to-one career counseling, and the campus-wide commitment to teamwork, you're not going through it alone. Our different graduate programs offer the flexibility to complete your degree on your time and on your schedule through a number of options. Our full-time and online MBA or master's programs give you hands-on practice, incredible immersive coursework, and our vast global alumni network. At Whitman, connected means much more than who you know. You'll harness the power of cross-disciplinary collaboration. There are a number of dual and joint degree programs you can take advantage of. Did you know that many of our students receive scholarships? Over 90% of full-time master's students receive scholarship funds.
I know, I got one.
Did you know that U.S. News ranked Whitman's full-time MBA program number 57 in the nation?
Wow, that's awesome. I'm so glad to be part of it.
Whether you're on campus, enjoying the views and the food, or getting your degree online, you're set up for success. Just ask some of our students.
There's so much that I've done thanks to Whitman. Everything from building out a robust professional network at the international level to immersive group projects that have taught me how to start or manage a business with my colleagues. Speaking of colleagues, I've made a lot of amazing...
Wow, you sure do like it here, but we got to keep this video going. We'll be right back. Our graduates are working at places like Amazon Web Services, Ernst & Young, Merck, Grant Thornton, HP, Hood, KPMG, Rotivity Consulting, PwC, Yum Brands, just to name a few. You'll also be joining a network of over 30,000 Whitman alumni. Let's just say our alumni network is supportive and growing. That's the power of Orange. With Whitman's experiential learning opportunities, you can get ahead of the competition and grab an internship. As a global business school, Whitman has a range of courses and projects that address important business issues around the globe. How about fund a business idea you've had since you were a kid? How does it feel to win the business competition?
Pretty good.
We pride ourselves on pursuing success together. So whatever your dream is, you can do it at Whitman. I almost forgot about you.
Internship program where I applied things that I learned in the classroom to real-world problems. You also get to experience all that Syracuse, New York has to offer. Eating and nightlife at Armory Square. You can visit the Gilded Club, which was actually founded by Whitman alumni. And there's also opportunities to engage in the communities around Syracuse and around the globe with the Whitman Challenge and Residency Program.
Could you give us just one line to sum up your Whitman experience so we can wrap up this video?
Amazing.
Love it. So whatever it is you want to do, whether it's to become a bold leader, an innovator, advance your career, or anything in between, you belong here. Be Whitman, be Orange.
Okay, so we'll stop that. Okay, let me go back to sharing my PowerPoint here. Okay, are we back? Yes. Okay, so that should, Lucia, are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. All right, so moving on. Why am I having trouble today? Okay, so I wanted to point out a couple of things based on what you had seen in the video that I just shared with you all. So it talked about the opportunity to pursue online programs as well as executive education programs. But today's presentation, I want to specifically focus on specialized master's programs or the full-time MBA. So I'm not here to discuss about the other programs, but focusing the talk only on the specialized master's or the full-time MBA. So what are specialized master's programs? These are the answer to industry requirements. What do I mean by that? In the last 20 years or so, the landscape of grad management education has changed quite a bit, wherein there have been gaps identified that need to be filled right away in various types of jobs. And the specialized master's programs came out as a response from academic institutions in order to assist in filling these gaps in industry. So they are offered as specialized concentrations of study. They're usually of shorter duration, typically for about a year with in-depth focus in a particular area of study. Whether, for example, it could be accounting or it could be business analytics, but you have much more in-depth study. So you're looking at a lot of depth. There is intensive coursework. It could be structured curriculum, but with fewer electives. And again, keep in mind, I'm talking about all of these programs in general for you to get an understanding of what the MS programs are, what the MS degrees are. The internship opportunity might be allowed after a year of study, depending on how the curriculum is structured at every institution. So if that is something of importance to you, you need to be able to look into that and understand what the program offers and whether you will be able to pursue an internship. Work experience is usually not required for these programs. And if you are thinking about potentially entering into a business environment or going into management education, then getting some work experience would be beneficial for you before you start the MBA program, but the specialized masters will get you into that starting point because you can learn the depth of content and then take that into the marketplace and land your first job, potentially gain some work experience, and then come towards an MBA program. The duration of study is based on the type of the program. The focus addresses various aspects of management. So when you're looking at an MBA, you're thinking about breadth, not so much necessarily the depth. This is in general, but there are programs within the MBA that will allow you to gain depth in one particular area or specialization, and that's what Whitman does, and we'll go into that in the slide coming on forward. But you will have specializations or concentrations available in specific areas. They may not be in every single area that you dream of, because again, keep in mind when institutions have to offer you courses, it has to be relevant. Internships usually are recommended for the MBA program within the first 2 years of study. Most programs in the US are typically for 2 years, and that gives you that opportunity to get that internship experience built into the program and also count towards your credit. 2 years of work experience, typically recommended, but not necessarily required. But again, you have to understand to the best of your ability how introspective you are, how self-aware you are of your own background and how that plays out in the pursuit of your particular career trajectory. Everybody does not need an MBA. It's not a blanket. But by the same token, is management education relevant in today's world? Yes, it is. So at what point you need to pursue the MBA can only be determined by you. And that goes into the deeper understanding of your own trajectory academically, as well as your interests in relation to management education, okay? So it's ideal for preparing for a career in general business, specialized area. Also, as I mentioned, with the MS to start thinking about pivoting careers. Here's a reference article. I'm not sure, I don't know if this is going to work or not, but if you want to take a screenshot of that, and I'm sure this presentation will become available to you. This is an article that goes into a little more detail about the MBA versus the MS, or potentially when we have time in the Q&A. I'll take you through this, but this article is available on Coursera. Okay, so here are the specializations that are offered at the Whitman School of Management. So we have accounting, business analytics, entrepreneurship, finance, marketing management, real estate, and supply chain management. So what you have in the parentheses when it says MS and MBA, it's basically letting you know that we offer an MS degree in that specialization. We also offer the specialization as part of the MBA. Except for real estate, pretty much everything else is available. The little asterisk that you see accounts for the STEM designated specializations, which are relevant for international students, focusing on science, technology, engineering, mathematics. So given that we have so many specializations which are STEM designated, you must be prepared as you potentially think about coming to a school like Whitman. You must be prepared to encounter a heavily quantitative curriculum, right? So do not shy away from learning quantitative skills even before you come. Also know that you might have a lot of work experience in some cases. There might be students, we have had students from Nigeria, for instance, who've come in the last couple of years with close to 14 years of work experience. But keep in mind, work experience is not the same as academic rigor. So it throws you off when you are in the classroom and suddenly have to go through assignments and have to go through midterm exams where you are doing a lot of things and doing homework every day. So be prepared to come back into a student life, but a very enriching student life in a supportive, collaborative environment. We at Whitman are not about being cutthroat. We are collaborative, and this is very important because it's one of the mainstays for us. So a little bit about the full-time MBA program overview. The specializations on the right, I've already mentioned them to you, but I wanted to list them over here as well. But it's essentially a 2-year program requiring total 54 credits. 36 credits are core credits. So irrespective of the specialization, everybody has to take the core, but 18 credits are specialization credits. Now, you can complete these 18 specialization credits in multiple ways. For instance, let's look at the specializations on the right. If you wanted to go into business analytics, you could do all 18 credits in business analytics, no questions asked, which means you work with your academic advisor and take the coursework specific to complete that specialization. 9 credits complete a specialization. So if you want, you could complete all 18 credits in one specialization and be done with the 36 core and the 18 specialization credits. Second option for you, you could do 9 credits. We'll stay with the example of business analytics. You could complete 9 credits in business analytics, and you could decide to take 9 credits from other grad schools on campus. So for instance, let's say you come with a background in and you want to take some coursework in the specific fields in engineering that you have an undergraduate degree in, civil engineering, as an example. If there is a course available at the School of Engineering, which is not restricted to engineering students, you might be eligible to take that course at the master's level and count that towards your specialization credit. You could go and take a course at the Maxwell School of Public Administration, Public Policy, and you could do something related to international relations, and you could count that towards your credit. So it doesn't matter which particular school the credit is coming from, as long as you have one specialization from Whitman, and then you want to take a few others, up to 9 credits from other graduate schools on campus at Syracuse University. The third option for you, we allow dual specialization. So for instance, you have an interest in finance and you also have an interest in analytics. You can do a dual specialization with finance and analytics. How you decide which one is going to be the primary and which one is the secondary is up to you, okay? A couple of things I wanted to mention here with relation to the innovations. The scholarship is going to come back again, so I'm not like forgetting about it, but I wanted to talk about the innovation. So there is opportunity for you to pursue the internship in a location outside of the US. There is a professor at Whitman who builds these connections with various companies. They could be US companies, they could be multinational companies that are based out of Singapore, and there is opportunity for you to engage in exploring that option if you so choose. There are residencies which are offered in tandem with our online MBA cohort, and you might become eligible to participate in these residencies. Now, keep in mind, if you decide to participate in any of these residencies, they are usually timed in such a way that they will not impact your full-time semester. It will be before the full-time coursework begins. And so you will still have the opportunity to engage in that. There is some availability and some flexibility in how you might complete some specific courses, which can be completed through a week or 2-week study and immersion in New York City at our own center. We have a location in the heart of the city. There might be the option for you to attend classes all day, every day, but knock out a 3-credit course in less than 2 weeks, but use the rest of the time to explore the opportunity to meet with alumni or recruiters or engage in other practical experiences through that. The other thing, I am going to try doing this and hope that this works. Are you able to? No, screen sharing is paused. So I'm having an issue with my screen sharing. So I'm going to share this, this link in the chat box so you can all, test it out at your end. I'm going to throw it here in the chat box for everyone. So this is the WIRE initiative. stands for Whitman Industry Readiness and Excellence. And this is available to all undergraduate and master's students. So if you are particularly interested in completing a specific industry required specialization certificate, for instance, Google Analytics, or something specific to Power BI, or something specific to supply chain, whatever it might be, there are a list of certifications available for you on that link that I just shared. You can request through filling out a form and request monetary assistance or scholarship to be able to pursue that certification. And that's one of the innovations that has come out in the last couple of years at Whitman. So moving on with the full-time master's programs, the MS programs, I wanted to list again the specializations for you. You will see they're all here, the STEM designated, but the difference in credits, you see, as I mentioned in the initial slides where I talked about the difference between the two types of degrees, MS and MBA. The MBA is 54 credits. The MS is either 30 credits, except for business analytics, which is 36 credits, right? So considerably lesser duration, but also lesser cost. So think about budgeting, think about practical reasons why you would want to pursue one degree as opposed to the other, while thinking about it in terms of which is the best fit for you at this point in time, right? When I say flexible duration here on screen, it refers to you can complete the program. A 30 credit program can be completed in 9 months, 16 months, or 21 months, not counting the 3 months in the summer. Now, 9-month programs are, or 9-month option is usually not favored by international students for 2 reasons. One, you are adapting to a new educational environment as well as a new cultural environment. So as you are, getting used to a different lifestyle, different educational system, different cultural environment, and adapting, you want to be able to not load yourself in such a way that you're causing yourself stress, because taking 15 credits a semester is not a joke at the graduate level. I'll just be very straightforward about that. It is not a joke. You cannot let your GPA slide, nor can you, not engage in other things that the school has to offer, right? So you want to balance it out. So usually 16-month option is a better option because it also gives you that opportunity to explore the internship possibility. For the 36 credit program, business analytics, the minimum requirement is 16 months, and you can also extend it to complete in 21 months. Now, you have the option to complete the coursework with or without taking internship credits. Some students choose not to use the summer for internship, but for preparing for other certification exams. For instance, a lot of students prepare for the CFA level exams when they are pursuing a degree in finance or the FRM. And so it's up to you how you decide to utilize your summer, but ideally it would benefit you if you are seeking that practical experience to seek an internship. And then I just gave you the link to the WIRE initiative, so I'm not going to try going from here. So a little bit about how to prepare your application. This is a little different from similar sessions that I have done with either Docsity or on our own that are possibly available to you at various locations online. But I wanted to specifically put this up here with the application checklist, and you will see this application checklist when you go to the Whitman website as well. There is an online application. It's a new application portal. We've just launched it for this year, and it is now available. If you wish to go and start your application, you are welcome to do so. There is an application essay, typically 750 words, between 500 to 750, but ideally if you have 750, why not utilize it? 2 letters of recommendation, unofficial copies of your transcripts, business resume, 1 page. And if you do submit, official score reports from the standardized tests will be required to go ahead with your application review. But having said that, we are also test optional with a GMAT or GRE. English proficiency, in the beginning, before we started the actual session, people were introducing themselves. I saw some names from Nigeria and Ghana. You will be exempted. That's why I said some countries exempted. So if you have a question, feel free to contact us via email and we can clarify that for you. But if you are not listed in the countries that are exempt, then we will require an English proficiency test score. For instance, India, we do require an English proficiency test score, and it has to be an official score report from either the TOEFL or the IELTS, most commonly submitted scores, but we also accept the Duolingo. Some preparation tips. One of the first things, remember at the beginning of the previous slide, I said the application portal is now open and you can begin and start your application. Prepare a compelling candidacy, not a rushed one. So don't jump right after this session is over and start preparing your application. You want to put some thought into it. Treat it like you are submitting a job application. Incomplete applications are going to delay the process, so don't be in a rush to meet the particular deadline and submit your application by that deadline and leave a bunch of things incomplete. It's not going to help you. The application essay, a lot of times what I have seen, students don't really recognize that there is an essay question prompt for a reason. You get so excited in wanting to share everything about your academic career or your professional career or a combination of the two along with your passion and interest that you don't recognize that in the process you are all over the place and you're not really answering the question prompt. So be very mindful, answer the question prompt. Do not write a generic essay, and keep in mind you are applying to a business school. You are not writing a generic statement of purpose, right? So answer the question prompt, have someone else read the question as well as read your response before you submit, and then have them give you constructive feedback. That will help you see something that is very close to you, because this is something about you that you're writing. So you want to be very careful that you're not just, all over the place, but coming across as a very focused, mature, competitive candidate. Review the website, highlight aspects that resonate with you. We don't ding you for it. We actually welcome it because it tells us that you've been looking at the website, and the website is serving its purpose as well by giving you the information that's relevant. I wanted to highlight this last point. When you have conversations or meetings with the Whitman representatives, or some of you have your own friends who are currently at Whitman, mention them. We might call them either, when we see them in the hallway, or like send them a message and thank them for spreading the word about Whitman and bringing us their friends. So it doesn't hurt. By the same token, if they're doing something and have mentioned, hey, I took this particular class and I want you to come to Whitman and take the same class, we can have a discussion about it at a later point, either with your academic advisor or one of the representatives. In fact, my colleague is currently attending the session as well, so I know he's listening to all that I'm saying. So if you send him an email, he will also respond and help you out with that. So do not hesitate to reference these conversations that you have with us. We welcome them, and you can write them in your application essay. Careful, though, how you write about it. It is not something that we are looking for in terms of, flattery. No. What type of conversation did you have? That is what we are looking for. And how does that tie in with the rest of your journey with the application? As a recommendation, choose your recommenders carefully, because you want to give them enough time to prepare your letter. Last point, again, important. It's not important to get a letter with from someone with a high title if they don't have a close working relationship with you. By the same token, you don't want to go and ask a peer or your colleague at the same level to write about you and give you a recommendation. We're looking for somebody in a supervisory role, and it's not necessary that you have to go to the CEO of your company unless you have a direct working relationship in a small business with them. But otherwise, it has to be somebody who can speak very closely about your various competencies and comment on that. Financial documents. A lot of international students tend to attend these webinars, and so I wanted to put this on here, talk about it. If possible, submit along with your application. It helps to mitigate further processing delays. With the new application that we have just launched for this year, once your admissions decision is processed, you will receive the letter of admission listed in your portal. You can download it from there. But you will not receive your I-20 paperwork unless your financial documents have been submitted and reviewed and approved. So if you want to receive your I-20 paperwork, do not delay submitting your financial documents right after you get into your admissions portal and see the cost of attendance amounts that are listed there, how much scholarship you have received, and what you need to demonstrate. For fall 23, spring 24, the cost of attendance per credit hour is $18.72 per credit hour. Keep in mind, we are a private university, and so we charge tuition per credit hour. This is important because as you guesstimate and prepare for your own educational journey, you need to know how much you should be putting aside or what amount you should be thinking about. So keep all of these in mind and review the site for more information. Application fee and waivers. Unlike previous years where there might have been something listed on the website indicating when a fee waiver was available, we are generally not offering fee waivers for fall 24. There is a non-refundable application fee of $75, and this goes in hand with the cost of attendance that I was mentioning in the previous slide. You want to prepare to try and understand, how this fits in with your overall price tag. Exceptions can be considered. We won't guarantee them. If you are submitting a GMAT score of 640 or higher, or you have a GRE score of 320 or higher, which are commendable scores, and you want to share them if you've taken the test and scored that high, you want to email busgrad@syr.edu a screenshot, or even if it's easier to submit the PDF attachment, then feel free to do so. But the official score report must be sent to Syracuse University so that we can match it with your unofficial and review your application. Okay. Scholarship, merit scholarships considered for all applicants. There's no separate application or no separate deadline, automatic consideration based on the overall admissions criteria. So go back to the application checklist, which is available on the website. And the admissions interviews can be on a case-by-case basis. It is not mandatory. So if your friend receives a call for an interview and you don't receive the call, don't panic. Something was required and we wanted to have a chat, an additional layer. But that doesn't mean that the person who doesn't receive a call for an admissions interview is, there's something wrong with their application. No. 90% of candidates, admitted candidates, are usually awarded a merit scholarship. And keep in mind, again, the scholarship is applied only towards tuition, not for living expenses. And this is important because as you are preparing, again, to understand your cost of attendance, you want to recognize that it's not going to be for your personal living expenses. So with that, I'm coming to the end, questions, comments, and I will stop my screen share and I will wait for Docsity to take over.
So here I am. Thank you a lot, Shri. It was really interesting and we have a lot of questions. So I saw that you already answered to a few of them, but maybe it's important to dive a bit into them. So the first one that we have is, hi Shri, which soft skills are you looking for in an application?
Excellent. So soft skills are something that are usually not measured and quantified, correct? So until and unless it comes to a specific context of whether a student has to do a presentation in class or prepare for a job interview, no one usually thinks about soft skills. So thank you for bringing that up at this stage. We are looking ideally for people who are comfortable in articulating their ideas. It takes all kinds to make up the world. So not everybody can be an extrovert. We have different levels of introversion and extroversion as well, right? So if you think I'm a great public speaker, given the fact that I'm voluntarily doing this type of information session, let me tell you, I'm 51% introverted, according to a test. So you cannot judge, somebody just by a presence this way and assume that they are like this in every context. So you want to be able to figure out how can you express yourself, whether that is in your writing or it is in your speaking, in your speech, and then focus on whatever you feel are your shortcomings and work towards building those skills. So that is one. The other, we say a lot about networking, but if you don't know the nitty-gritties of how to network, then how will you actually understand what networking means? So networking could be as simple as, I did not meet Stefania, your moderator for today's session, before today's session. So prior to the session, we chatted for a little bit about everything not related to the session. Yeah. So you want to be able to not just come and talk about your course content all the time. For instance, you meet alumni. The alumni, the person you're meeting could be from your home country. You don't walk up to them right up front, introduce yourself and say, hey, how can I get a job? How did you do it? Wrong idea. What you want to do instead is, so nice to see someone from my own home country here, if that is, not very common. And you've seen someone, fellow Nigerian, when you have a lot of other, countries around, and you see maybe one person. I'm using Nigeria as an example because this year, fall 23, we actually brought in a lot of them. And so it's been very exciting to see how they engage. But if you see something like that, you want to walk up to the person and share, hey, where are you from? Which part of the country? And small talk, and learn to do the small talk, not in an annoying way, but more as a friendly banter. You don't want to do small talk as like, did you read about this? Did you get into this? Can I continue with this? Right? So there is a presence that you want to maintain. You want to know how to look the part, dress the part. You are in a business environment. Be dressed appropriately, because then people will take you seriously in the context that you are meeting these people. So these are all different types of skills, and we can keep talking till the cows come home. But I want to highlight some of these which are not typically quantified and measured, and you don't get grades on, but focus on expressing yourself in different ways, verbally, non-verbally, written communication, networking skills, being willing to be open to be criticized, critiqued, criticized, hopefully not as much unless it's in a very close friend group, because you want to have a trusted friend who can give you that open criticism. But typically in a nurturing collaborative environment, it is more critique, which means there is constructive feedback. It's not, belittling you in any which way, but have always that one close friend who can tell you what is wrong with you at any particular given moment in time, your face, without being afraid of jeopardizing that friendship. Everybody needs at least one person like that, right?
I agree.
So
thank you. Was really interesting. And going on, the student is asking, for re-applicants, are there anything they should look up to or consideration they should be aware of?
Re-applicants, you said, like reapplying?
Yes.
Okay. So, well, one of the first things you want to think about is, why are you reapplying? In terms of, why are you coming back to Whitman? So you might want to not spend too much time in your application essay or elsewhere in the application where there is a section for indicating any content or writing any content that is not already provided in the rest of your documents. You might be able to use that space to say why you are coming back. What could be an example? So for whatever reason you had applied in a previous year and you could not meet all aspects of the application, and therefore you were not able to either complete the application, or you got an admissions offer, but you were not able to attend and you were not able to defer. So give us a maybe 2-line explanation why that is the case, or why you are coming back. And then you want to show us in the application essay and through the rest of your documents, what have you done in the time from the previous application year to now, and why should we reconsider you? Because keep in mind, admissions committees spend a lot of time reviewing applications. So if it's just one little thing that, oh, I changed the format of my resume, yeah, no, not going to work for you. But if you say something like, I applied 2 years ago, for whatever reason, I couldn't attend or complete my documents in time to attend school, but now I've taken a test score, I've gotten promoted at work, I have started a volunteering business, what have you, or earned a couple of certifications. Revamp the story, but give us the insight into why we should reconsider you. So it cannot be the same exact application and nothing has changed in your candidacy, but what has changed in your candidacy and why are you coming back to us?
Okay, thank you. Then going on, we have few questions related to English requirements. They are asking, what is the minimum level of English required?
So these exact numbers for each of the tests should be listed in the application checklist on the website. So I suggest that depending on whether you are looking for the master's program or whether you are looking for the MBA program, visit the Whitman website. I can leave a note in the chat box for you to visit the website, but the specific requirements are listed over there. But off the top of my head, I want to say if you are doing the IELTS, you are probably looking at an overall band of 7 with speaking at least 7. Similarly, with the TOEFL, the minimum recommended minimum is 100 with speaking requirement 24. And similarly with Duolingo, I believe the minimum requirement or recommended minimum is 130. So you want to sort of, review the specifics on the app, because this is a specific detail, correct? But by the same token, I know the flip side to this question, which is, I scored 98 on the TOEFL. It is not 100. Am I eligible to apply? Use your discernment. Yeah. There is a certain unwritten level of maturity that is expected of graduate applicants. So use your discernment and demonstrate in other ways why you think your language's competency is on par with what is recommended.
Okay, and related to this, we also have, how do we get the list for the exempted countries for IELTS test?
It's on the site. And if it is not, email busbrad@syr.edu with your specific question and give us a context and maybe provide us a resume and then state that, this is your question. Mm-hmm.
Okay. We have also a few questions related to scholarships.
Sure.
They are asking, do you offer any scholarships?
Merit-based.
Yeah, and is there a dormitory in the university, or is there a scholarship supporting the house fees?
No, it's a good question, actually. So our scholarship is restricted to be applied towards tuition. We do not offer scholarship for living expenses. Living expenses are on your own. Graduate students typically do not live in dormitories, but there is graduate housing available around campus. Most of our graduate students live around Whitman. So Whitman is at the north end of campus. And on South Campus, there is graduate housing, and there is a bus service that runs in the university, which is free to Whitman students. With your ID card, you can, just hop onto the bus. But if you are living on South Campus, you want to be careful because your classes start really early in the morning at Whitman, and your bus service may not make it in time. So be careful about that. But most of Whitman students live within walking distance of Whitman and or within, the trolley service or so. There is also a link on, if you go to the main Syracuse University homepage. I'm going to teach you something today, which I hope everybody will utilize. When I was a graduate student, nobody taught me this. So let me see. If you go to the main page, which is syracuse.edu, I hope that link works. Lucia, please test the link on the back end. If you go to the university page, syracuse.edu, there is a search box to your right corner, top right corner, there should be a search box. This search box should become your best friend. Because if you don't know where to look for something about the university, and you don't know where the link is or how to look for the link, you go into the search box and you type in, and it will generate a bunch of options for you, and you will find the relevant link from there, right? So always utilize that search box, because I don't want to give you the wrong address, but there is a particular page on the website for relevant to student housing.
Okay, nice. And we also have a question that is, can an applicant get an application waiver based on years of work experience?
No. Like I stated on the PowerPoint, the only way we will even consider at this stage, given the new application system, revamping of various things in our portal at the back end, we are no longer offering the waivers. It is only if you have taken a test and have scored high that we will potentially, you submit it to BusGrad, and we will consider at the back end and bring it up for discussion with senior leadership to see if that can be offered. But there is no blanket application fee waivers.
Okay. And does taking a course under the WIRE initiative translate to a credit?
It's not a credit. WIRE initiative is to be treated as a supplement to your degree education. So, for example, if I am pursuing an MS degree in business analytics, or I'm doing the MBA with a specialization in business analytics, I want to earn an industry level certification in Power BI and Google Analytics. But there is a cost associated with that. The cost could be $100, the cost could be $1,000. Doesn't matter. Each certification has different levels of cost associated with it. The WIRE initiative allows you to make a petition, if you will, for requesting funding to offset this cost. So you fill out the application and you explain why having the certification makes you ready for the industry. In other words, by the time you graduate, why having the certification will assist you in finding a job. And we will then review, there is a committee that reviews the WIRE scholarships or the applications. And once they review it, they will then give you that funding. So it's additional money to be applied towards. So it's not going to go out of your pocket. It's going to go out of our pocket, if you will, to assist you to get that industry readiness certificate that then makes you ready for the global marketplace. So that's how you want to treat it, but it's not going to be given to you as like an additional credit. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and the same person is asking us, technically, all the official scores sent from ETS will be considered for admissions, am I right?
Yes, that's where it has to come from if it is a GRE exam. If you're taking a GMAT, then yes, it will be sent by GMAC. And yes, we need the official score reports to be sent to us if you have taken the test and if you wish your test score to be considered. Mm-hmm.
Now we have the last questions.
Okay.
So one is, can I study online from my own country?
Sure. Nobody stops you from that, but that would disappoint me because I am here talking about full-time programs, and I would love to have you in our program if that's a possibility. But otherwise, yes, the same website where you go in for Whitman, whitman.syracuse.edu, you can look, there is a search box over there as well, and there are options for you to consider the online program options. You can look at that.
Okay. Then they also ask you, I intend to write a GMAT test by December this year. Can I proceed to apply now, or do I have to wait till I have gotten my test scores before I complete my application?
I would suggest you wait because of a couple of reasons. One, you may not be satisfied with your test score, even though I might be. So the question is, if it meets the recommended minimum and it's higher, I could be very satisfied with your test score, but you may feel that it doesn't reflect your true ability. So you don't want that test score to be considered, and you might want to retake the test. That's up to you. By the flip side, it could be that on that particular day, you were not your best self and your score, you did not do really well with the test, or you had a technical glitch at the center, and so the test couldn't be conducted. If your application gets submitted at this time and you really want your score for review, we won't hold your application if everything else is complete. So it is in your best interest to wait and submit once you get everything lined up. Our deadlines are January 15th, so you have time. Second deadline is March 15th, and then last round deadline is April 15th. So like I said, again, submit a compelling candidacy. Do not submit a rushed candidacy. So I would suggest wait.
Okay, thank you. And then they ask if there is a criteria for GMAT GRE waiver.
Again, we are test optional for this upcoming year, fall 24. Again, please visit the website and review the application requirements. If you wish to differentiate yourself from everybody else who's going to take advantage of the waiver, that's up to you. It's a personal decision. But we are technically test optional. I would encourage you to consider taking one of the two tests, given that you are coming into a quant heavy program, whether it's the MBA or it's the MS. Remember, I told you it is STEM designated, which means the coursework is going to be quantitative. If you have no undergraduate experience, academically speaking, in quantitative coursework, it might be in your best interest to take one of the two tests, GMAT or GRE, to distinguish your competency in quant coursework by taking those tests, one of the tests. It benefits you. It doesn't go against you. By the same token, if you have a lot of work experience in a quantitative area related to your job, but you don't have academic experience, keep in mind, work experience doesn't necessarily translate to academic rigor, because you might be working only in a couple of different particular aspects in your job that are related, but it doesn't translate into overall academic rigor. So again, it is not a negative. It will only enhance your application.
Okay. And then they ask if are applicants considered for waivers?
What waivers are we talking about? Application fee, or again, it's so. Please review the website. All of this information is available on the website. I'm going to repeat it one more time, that for tests, GMAT or GRE, we are test optional for fall 24. You don't have to submit it, but it is recommended that you submit an official test score from one of the two tests. Application fee waivers are not available. An exception can be considered if you have a very high GMAT score or a GRE score. If you have 640 or higher on your GMAT, 320 or higher on your GRE, we can consider, and there is a specific way in which you request it, and that information is available on the site as well.
Okay.
Mhm.
And then we have the last question. I leave it as the last one because it's a bit different. They ask, how long have you been at Syracuse Whitman? And do you have a favorite thing about Syracuse Whitman?
This is not really a question. You made it up.
No, I was here. I swear. It's in the Q&A box. But I'm curious about it, so please.
So I have been at Whitman. Come February 1st, it will be 10 years. Okay. So what is a favorite thing about Whitman? I have many. So I think if I have to bring it down and say one thing, I will highlight it in a slightly longer way and not just like a bullet point, which is the closeness of interactions that I see building among students and also students and staff and students and faculty. There is at every level, and staff and faculty, right? This closeness of interaction remains for life. It's a collaboration, it's a partnership, and then it becomes a friendship that stays for life. There are quite a few alumni that I'm still in touch with who write to me. Some write to me actually to ask me for advice. And I'm like, didn't I let you graduate already? I don't have to do this anymore. But no, it's great to hear from alumni. They write and say, I want to participate in information sessions with you. So the way they want to give back, the fact that they want to stay connected, the fact that they want to mentor incoming students and offer their experiences. I think this can only happen if you have a richness of experience during your own time at Whitman. And over the years, I have seen how those friendships have evolved and have continued to last over time, not just in the program, but even outside the program. And it plays out in different ways. There are alumni who stay together. One is babysitting for the alum's young child. And so it forms lifelong friendships. And I think it's beautiful to see that level of connection and to say that it happened at Whitman. And I'm a small part of it.
Thank you, Shri. I'm really happy that we close with this answer. So now our questions are done. And I would say thanks again to you, Shri, and also to our students to be with us today, and especially to be so curious and responsive with all the questions that you made. I hope you learn a lot about Whitman School of Management and that this webinar help you to make the decision to actually studying there. So if you're interested in receive our certificate of attendance, you can click the link that I'm sharing right now in the chat. And we will share also the recording with you in the following days. So please check your email. And I'll also ask to our panelists if you want to leave the final message before saying goodbye to our students.
I think I just want to say, thank you to the students as well as to Docsity. This has been a wonderful collaboration. We've done many of these, and I'm happy to keep coming back. But to the audience specifically, I'm treating this as a reminder to myself as well. Stay curious and stay hungry. So that will make you want to know more about whatever is the best option for you in life and how you should go about it. But in this particular context, stay curious about Whitman and come back to talk to me. So yeah, the email I want to just share in the chat one more time. This is the generic email address, which is for your quick queries. You could write here, and my colleague Tim Finlay, if he's still here attending this session, he will be the first person who will see it. But if necessary, in the subject line, please mention attended Docsity webinar, so we know that it's coming after you attended the webinar and questions from there. If you wish to write to me directly, you can write to me at this email address. So I'm inputting my email address as well. So Stefania and Lucia in the background and the overall Docsity team, thank you very much. And there's Tim, email us anytime. We will take care of you. Go Orange, that is correct. And yeah, it's been fantastic. And we hope we will see a lot more interest coming this way. And we do have more sessions coming lined up for you guys. So feel free to stay connected. Thank you very much.
Thanks you. And thanks again, everyone. I hope to see you again in the next webinar. So it was a pleasure for me. Bye.
Likewise. Take care.